A few hours of rain is expected from the early evening. It's time to wrap up this hour's news. Thank you for joining. You're listening to BEFM 부산영어방송.
Your best choice. BEFM 부산영어방송.
Coming up next is Busan Worldwide with Stephanie Yoon. BEFM 부산영어방송.
At this very moment, 26,700 students across 60 schools in Busan are taking their College Scholastic Ability Test CSAT. 지금 부산 시내 60개 학교에서는 26,700여 명이 수능 시험을 보고 있습니다. They're currently navigating through the second period mathematics exam, and the day will conclude at 5:45 p.m. after the conclusion of the third, fourth, and fifth periods. So here's to hoping that the skills honed over 12 years will bear fruit today. 화이팅, 화이팅. And this is Busan Worldwide, and I'm your host, Stephanie Yoon. Good morning, listeners. Welcome to Busan Worldwide on this Thursday morning. Happy Thursday. It is November 16th. And thank you so much for tuning in to BEFM Busan 영어방송. Now, without any major incidents, examinees have safely arrived at their test centers to take CSAT this morning. I'm sure parents, seniors, juniors, and teachers alike are all sending their thoughts and prayers on this very day. 학부모님, 선배, 후배, 선생님 모두 오늘 하루 기도하는 마음으로 보내지 않을까 싶은데요. Now, yesterday, following the resumption of support events for examinees, which had been stopped due to the pandemic, various schools conducted activities to ease the tension of the students and to support them. Some schools rolled out the red carpet for the examinees, while others displayed banners like "Good luck on CSAT" to boost their spirits and to encourage them as well. There were students and teachers sharing snacks with the examinees and holding banners with messages like, "May every stroke of your pen become the right answer, and that we cheer for your future." Now, as our entire nation shares in this sentiment, I do want to join in and say to all the students, you've done well so far, and you're doing so well now, and you will continue to succeed in the future. 지금까지 잘 해왔고, 지금도 잘하고 있고, 앞으로도 잘 될 거야 라고 저도 응원의 마음을 보탭니다. Well, listeners, thank you again for tuning in to Thursday edition of Busan Worldwide. Now, let me briefly tell you what we have going on for the next hour. So coming up next, we have the interview, which is our main segment of the day. And after that, we have Up Busan 2030 and Correspondent Report, where we connect with our reporters from all around the world. And as always, we are live streaming on YouTube, so you can go to YouTube and search BEFM or 부산영어방송 and check out our studio as well as our guests in about 30 seconds, and you can send us free messages on YouTube as well. From Busan to the world, Busan Worldwide. 오늘의 더 인터뷰 라이브로 만나보시죠. It is time for the interview. You might not notice, but there are many people around us who are suffering due to poor living conditions. That is why college students in the Busan area have stepped up to contribute their small but big efforts to help the needy by participating in home repair volunteering. The home repair club called Awesome, which recently won the grand prize at a volunteer excellence contest, is a big contributor of this great work. So joining us today is Mr. Lee Jae-kyung, the president of the college student club titled Awesome. 네, 우리 주변에서 생각보다 많은 사람들이 취약한 주거 환경으로 고통받고 있는데요. 부산 지역의 대학생들이 작은 힘을 보태고자 집수리 봉사활동에 나섰습니다. 최근 부산의 자원봉사 우수사례 공모대회에서 대상을 받은 집수리 동아리 Awesome이 그 주인공인데요. 오늘 더 인터뷰에서는 주거 취약계층에게 희망을 전하고 있는 대학생 동아리 Awesome의 이재경 회장 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하십니까?
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 반갑습니다. It's a pleasure to have you in the studio today to talk about the college student club Awesome. So first, introduce the club to our listeners. 네, 우선 집수리 동아리 Awesome에 대해 소개 부탁드릴게요.
네, 안녕하세요. 부산 연합 집수리 동아리 Awesome의 2023년 회장을 맡고 있는 이재경입니다. 저희 Awesome은 주거 환경 취약계층 분들을 위해 무료로 도배, 장판 및 전등 교체를 하고 있는 동아리이며 2014년에 만들어져서 올해 10년 차를 맞이했습니다. 저희 Awesome에는 특별한 뜻이 숨겨져 있는데요. Awesome의 스펠링을 하나하나씩 뜯어보면
네.
먼저 A에 나 하나가 모여 위에 우리가 되고 썸에 어떤 집이든 수리한다는 의미를 가지고 있습니다.
그렇군요. 하나가 모여 우리가 되고 우리는 어떤 집이든 수리한다. 그걸 통해 희망을 주는 집수리 동아리라고 설명해 주셨어요.
네.
Right. So he said Awesome is a club that provides free home repairs such as wallpapering, flooring, and light replacement for those in vulnerable housing conditions. He said it was established back in 2014, marking its 10th year this year. And there is a special meaning hidden in the name of the club, Awesome. So if you break down the spelling of Awesome, it means A as in individuals coming together, and then W-E as in we, right? And then some, S-O-M-E, as in repairing some or any kind of house. Then how many members do you have in the student club, and specifically what kind of work do you carry out? 그럼 현재 회원은 얼마나 되는지, 또 주로 어떤 활동들을 하고 있는지 궁금합니다.
현재 동아리 회원은 총 128명입니다. 다른 동아리에 비해 일손이 많이 필요하고 많은 인원이 투입되는 작업이기 때문에 타 동아리에 비해서는 인원이 매우 많은 편입니다.
네.
주 활동으로는 이제 부산 지역에 거주하고 계시는 기초생활수급자와 차상위 계층 분들 중 이제 주거 환경이 취약한 분들의 댁에 방문하여 무료로 도배, 장판 및 전등 교체를 하고 있습니다.
그렇군요. So there are currently 128 members. Since the work they carry out requires a lot of manpower, the club has a large number of members compared to other clubs, and their main activity involves visiting the homes of those living in Busan who are recipients of basic living subsidies and those in the next lowest income bracket but in vulnerable living conditions. They offer free services, as he mentioned, such as wallpapering, flooring, and light replacement. While the club receives new members every year, and I hear competition for it is very high. So let's hear a bit about this. 이 Awesome이 매년 지원자를 이제 모집하는데 경쟁률이 아주 치열하다고요.
네. 저희가 매 학기마다 신입 회원 20명에서 30명 정도 모집하고 있는데 경쟁률은 한 3대1에서 4대1 정도 됩니다.
네.
이렇게 경쟁률이 높기 때문에 저희가 서류 심사와 2차로 면접을 보고 있는데 이게 사람들이 보면은 무슨 동아리가 기업도 아니고 서류와 면접까지 보냐고 말들 하십니다.
네.
하지만 저희는 도배랑 장판이 정말 힘든 작업이기 때문에 이걸 스펙으로 생각하고 딱 한 번만 왔다가 동아리를 나가는 분들도 계십니다. 따라서 저희는 이분이 진짜로 봉사에 대해 진심인지 꾸준히 나올 수 있는 성실감을 가지고 있는지를 위주로 평가하고 있습니다.
그렇군요. 지원자가 많아서 경쟁률이 3대1에서 4대1은 된다고 말씀해 주셨어요. So each semester they recruit about 20 to 30 new members and the competition rate is about 3 to 1 or 4 to 1 ratio. They also conduct document screening and then interviews, and some might question why a club, not even a company, needs to go through documents and interviews. However, since wallpapering and flooring are challenging tasks, there are people who come only only once and then leave the club just for maybe resume's sake. So they want to see if the applicant is truly sincere about volunteering and has a commitment to consistently participate. Now, Awesome recently won the grand prize at a volunteer excellence presentation contest. So what did you present on? 최근에는 자원봉사 우수사례 발표 공모전에서 대상을 수상하셨다고 하는데요. 어떤 내용들로 사례 발표를 하셨나요?
일단 저희랑 같이 출전한 팀이 10팀 정도 되는데 저희가 운 좋게 대상을 받았다고 생각을 합니다.
네.
그 부분 좋게 봐주셔서 정말 감사드리고 저희가 발표했던 내용은 우선 저희가 봉사를 진행하면서 느꼈던 감정과 어려움 그리고 어르신들의 고마움 인사를 위주로 발표를 했습니다.
네.
봉사를 하기 위해 저희가 사전 방문을 하면은 어르신들께서 저희를 보고 이 대학생들이 이거 똑바로 하겠나 이렇게 말씀을 하시고 실제로 취소하시는 어르신들도 계십니다.
네.
하지만 이제 저희를 믿고 맡겨주신 어르신들은 수리가 다 끝난 집을 보시고는 이게 정말로 우리 집이 맞나라고 감탄도 하시고 저희의 팔이나 손을 붙잡고 정말 고맙다고 말씀해 주시는데 그런 경험을 토대로 이야기를 이어나갔습니다.
그렇군요. 봉사를 하면서 느꼈던 감정과 어려움 그리고 어르신들의 고마움을 위주로 발표했다고 말씀해 주셨어요. So he said in that competition, actually the contest, there were about 10 teams and they did get the grand prize and he's very thankful for that. In their presentation, they focused on the emotions and difficulties and the grateful heart and the attitude of the elderly and that they had experienced while volunteering. When they visited homes in advance to prepare for the work, there would be elderly that often say to them, can college students really do this properly? Some of them may be not trusting them enough, maybe canceling the work as well. However, those who trusted them and left it to them, upon seeing their homes repaired, they would think that maybe it's a new house. They would be so happy and it would express their deep gratitude. And this is what they presented on. Then how many home repairs has Awesome completed so far? And considering that home repairs, of course, require a budget, how do you fund these expenses? 그럼 그동안 Awesome에서 집수리를 얼마나 해드렸는지 그리고 또 집수리를 하려면 예산이 될 텐데 그 예산은 어떻게 충당하고 있는지 궁금합니다.
일단 2014년에 저희 동아리가 만들어져서 지금까지 총 352가구에 새로운 희망을 드렸습니다.
네.
작년까지 딱 300가구를 했고
네.
올해 52가구를 했습니다. 올해 앞으로 8가구를 총 더해서 올해는 총 60가구를 할 예정입니다.
그렇군요.
도배나 장판을 해보신 분들은 아시겠지만 이게 정말로 돈이 많이 들어가는 작업입니다. 저희도 이제 항상 이제 돈이 부족해가지고 회장단들끼리 돈을 따오려고 많이 노력을 하는데요. 정말 감사하게도 어썸을 도와주시는 기업과 비영리 단체 등이 있습니다. 우선 도배지와 장판의 경우 희망브릿지 재해구호협회라는 단체를 통해서 지원받고 있습니다. 또한 부산시 자원봉사센터와 고리 원자력본부에서 진행하는 소통고리 공모사업에 매년 선정이 돼서 약 200만 원의 지원금을 받고 있습니다.
그렇군요. So now he shared that since 2014, when they established, they have provided hope through their repairs to a total of 352 households. Now this year, they have repaired 52 houses so far. Their goal for this year is 60 in total. Now, if you know anything about wallpapering and flooring, you know that it's a task that requires a lot of money. And this is something that they always struggle with, finding enough funds. Now, thankfully, there are companies and nonprofit organizations that are supporting Awesome. And for wallpaper and flooring materials, they receive support through the Hope Bridge Korea Disaster Relief Association. And they're also selected annually for the 소통고리 project organized by the Busan Volunteer Center and the Gori Nuclear Power Headquarters, receiving about 2 million won in funding each year. Now, listeners, if you're just tuning in to Busan Worldwide, we're in the middle of the interview with Mr. Lee Tae-kyung. He's the president of the college student club titled Awesome. Like you said, the work is usually done by experts and professionals when it comes to home repairment. So how difficult is it for the college student organization to do this job? 이 집수리라는 게 전문적인 기술도 필요할 것 같은데 어려운 점도 많을 것 같은데 어떻습니까?
예, 부산 지역이 어르신들이 많은 고령자 지역이다 보니까 정말 힘들고 어려운 작업이 상당히 많습니다. 하지만 저희는 10년째 내려오는 기술과 노하우들이 후배들에게 계속해서 전수가 되고 있습니다. 또한 과거에 오랜 기간 활동하시던 멘토님들이 가끔 자신의 직장에 연차를 내시고 저희를 도와주러 오십니다.
네.
그런 이제 정말 대선배님들께 정말 큰 감사함을 느끼고 있고 저희가 한 일주일 한 번 할 때 4가구 정도 하는데 각 조마다 봉사 경험이 많은 조장, 부조장이 배치가 되고 있습니다. 그 사람들이 이제 신입을 전담 케어를 해가지고 신입들에게 각종 기술을 알려주고 있습니다.
그렇군요. 근데 또 이 노후 주택들은 더욱 어려운 작업일 것 같은데 어떤가요?
이제 정말 가다 보면 곰팡이가 정말로 가득한 집들이 있습니다. 그러면 곰팡이 냄새 때문에 정말 숨을 쉬지 못할 정도로 갑갑할 때가 많은데
네.
그럴 때는 특히 겨울 같은 경우는 냄새를 빼기 위해서 창문을 열어두면은 또 춥고 하기 때문에
네.
작업하기 정말 힘듭니다.
그렇군요. Now he shared that yes, especially because Busan region, we do have a lot of elderly population. It is a tough work, but the knowledge and know-how that they required over the past 10 years continues to be passed down to new members. Even previous members take time off work to come and help every weekend, and they're very grateful for their help. Now he mentioned that there is a system, so every weekend they have about 4 teams working on 4 different houses. Each team has a leader that will kind of systematically teach the new members of the club as well. I asked him, of course, here in Busan, they are usually working on the older buildings and apartments and houses and whatnot. So I asked him, what are some of the difficulties? And he shared about the mold. With the older houses and older structures, there are more mold, which leads to more terrible smell and whatnot while working on home repair. So physically, it is difficult, he said. Even during wintertime, for them to get rid of the smell, they would have to open the windows, and it gets really cold or really hot, I'm sure, during the summertime as well. Now, as your club provides hope to many, I'm sure there has been a number of heartwarming moments. So could you share a couple of the stories with us? 누군가에게 희망을 전하는 일이다 보니까 감동적인 순간들도 많았을 것 같은데요. 한두 가지만 소개해 주신다면요?
사실 매 순간이 감동적입니다. 앞서 말씀드렸다시피 곰팡이가 가득한 집은 정말로 힘든데요. 올해 2월에 그런 집을 해가지고 정말로 힘든 적이 있습니다.
네.
저희가 활동을 하면은 보통 오전 9시에 시작을 해서 오후 5시에 끝이 납니다. 하지만 그날은 오후 8시에 저희가 끝났는데요. 작업이 모두 끝나고 이제 어르신께서 달라진 집의 모습을 보더니 이제 정말로 저희에게 감사하다고 말씀하시면서 눈물을 흘리시는데 저도 그 순간 정말 울컥해가지고 눈물이 나올 뻔했습니다.
네.
제가 그 집이 정말로 인상이 깊어가지고 가끔 이제 한두 달에 한 번씩 종종 방문을 하는데 잘 살고 계시는 어르신의 모습을 보니까
네.
정말 감동적이고 저희가 정말 이 지역사회에 도움이 되고 있는 일을 하고 있구나 그렇게 느끼고 있습니다.
그렇군요. Wow, what a heartwarming story. So now he shared that every moment is actually a heartwarming moment for him. Now, talking about some of the moldy houses, there was a really difficult home repair that they carried out back in February. They usually work from 9 to 5, but for that home, they had worked till 8 p.m. After the work was done, the elderly had thanked them with tears in their eyes, which made him, our guest, teary as well. And that house just really stood out to our guest. So he actually does like a monthly visit, and the elderly is still healthy, living there as well. And it made him realize that he is making an impact in our society. Now, with all the work that you've carried out, any realization that came to you, I would love to hear. 이 집수리 봉사활동을 하면서 가장 크게 느낀 점 혹은 깨달은 점도 있을 것 같은데 어떻습니까?
정말 많은 점을 깨닫는데요. 우리 주위에 정말로 힘겹게 사시는 분들이 많구나라는 걸 정말 많이 느꼈습니다. 또한 우리의 작은 도움이 그분들에게는 큰 행복이 될 수 있다라는 걸 어썸이라는 활동을 하기 전까지는 직접적으로 제 마음에 와닿지 않았지만 제 두 눈으로 보고 우리의 두 눈으로 직접 보니까 그분들이 정말 1년 넘게 깨끗해진 집에서 행복하게 사시는 걸 보니 우리가 고생한 단 하루가 그분들에게는 10년 아니 그 이상의 행복이 될 수 있다라는 걸 깨달았습니다.
네. Now, he mentioned that he has realized that there are many people around us living in difficult lives and situations. Also, he didn't realize his small acts of service and help could become a great happiness for people until he started the activities with Awesome. But after seeing it with his own eyes and witnessing how these people live happily in their clean new homes, he realized that the one day of hard work they put in can bring more than 10 years or even a lifetime of happiness to the elderly. Now, I'm sure some of the listeners just tuning in and maybe students from the school as well might be interested in participating in this work. So I do want to ask how to participate and how to apply as well. 이렇게 쭉 이야기를 해봤는데 봉사활동을 함께하고 싶다면 어떻게 지원할 수 있을까요?
이제 저희와 봉사활동 특히 집수리 봉사활동을 함께하고 싶다면은 저희가 매 학기마다 인원을 모집하고 있는데 각 대학교 커뮤니티인 에브리타임을 통해 매해 공지가 되고 있습니다.
그렇군요.
이제 공지 사항을 자세히 보시고 서류 질문을 저희가 매 학기마다 3개에서 4개 정도 매년 바뀌고 있는데 그 질문에 대해서 성의껏 작성해 주신다면 좋은 결과가 있을 거라고 믿고 있습니다.
네.
또한 2차로 저희가 면접을 보고 있는데 면접은 앞서 말씀드렸다시피 본인의 능력을 과시하는 게 아니고 본인이 잘할 수 있는 부분과 또한 성실감, 봉사를 꾸준히 나올 수 있다는 그런 성실감을 위주로 면접에 응해 주시면은 좋은 결과가 있을 거라고 생각합니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 감사합니다. So he mentioned that every year they do open it up for all people to apply, especially in their colleges. So there is this platform called Every Time. It's a community platform, and you can apply every year especially for their college club that does this home repair volunteering. And he shared that every year they do have different questions, about 3 to 4 questions. He said what they're looking for is not just the ability itself, but their consistency, their heart for and passion for community work as well. There is going to be questions, and after that, when you get accepted, you do have to go through the interview, and he hopes that you will apply if you are interested. Well, you are currently a student of PNU majoring in architecture, so I do want to ask about your future plans. 현재 부산대 건축공학과에 재학 중이신데요. 앞으로 진로는 어떻게 계획하고 있습니까?
네, 저는 어렸을 때부터 꿈이 건설 현장에서 일하는 거여가지고 건축공학과에 입학하게 되었습니다. 앞으로 더 열심히 어썸의 봉사 활동도 하고 또 학교에서 공부도 열심히 해서 건설사에 취직한 후에 공정관리라는 업무를 맡고 싶습니다. 공정관리랑 정해진 공사 기간에 맞추기 위해서 일정을 기획하고 조정하는 역할입니다. 제가 어썸 회장을 하면서 각종 협력 기관들과 일정을 조율하고 봉사를 진행하면서도 그날 하루에 정해진 작업량을 마치기 위해 다양한 작업에 인원을 분배하는 역할을 하다 보니 해당 직무에 눈을 뜨게 되었고 관심을 가지게 되었습니다.
그렇군요. 이재경 씨의 미래를 응원합니다.
감사합니다.
All right, so he said he wants to work harder in both volunteering and studying to get a job at a construction company, something that he always wanted to do, and take on the role of management. Now, he shared process management involves adjusting schedules to meet set construction schedules and serving as a president and coordinating schedules with various organizations like Awesome, as well as sending members to different tasks to complete the set workload during volunteering activities, has really led him to become interested in this field of work. And I can definitely say the future of Busan is bright with young students like this in our city. Well, that's going to do it for today's The Interview with Mr. Lee Jae-kyung, the president of the College Student Club titled Awesome. 네, 오늘은 이 재경 Awesome 회장과 함께 자세한 이야기 나눠봤는데요. 오늘 출연 너무 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Right. And the time is now 11:29. That's going to do it for The Interview. Let's take a quick song break. This is Camila Cabello with It Takes Two.
There's something stirring up inside of me I never felt before. Doesn't it make you right? It's like I met another side of me that I gotta explore. Come and see what you'll find. Now that you're with me, I can finally see colors that were up in my mind. Didn't know I was blind. Now that I'm with you, sparks are flying loose. Fireworks go off in my brain. And I'll never be the same. I didn't know until I found you. Having the time of our lives, it takes two. When I look up, the stars are brighter. Now I know everything's better with you. You got me feeling right, feeling like good vibes are at my door. Every day, every night, ooh, ooh. I didn't know until I found you. Having the time of our lives, it takes two. It takes me and you. Kaleidoscopic. I'm seeing different when I look at you. Everything's looking bright. No, I can't stop it now. I'm getting swept up in a feel-good mood. Feeling I can't deny. Now that you're with me, I can finally see colors that were up in my mind. Didn't know I was blind. Now that I'm with you, sparks are flying loose. Fireworks go off in my brain. And I'll never be the same. I didn't know until I found you. Having the time of our lives, it takes two. When I look up, the stars are brighter. Now I know everything's better with you. You got me feeling right, feeling like good vibes are at my door. Every day, every night, ooh, ooh. I didn't know until I found you. Having the time of our lives, it takes two.
Now that we got it all together. Now we're together. We got it all. Now that we got it all together. Now we're together. We got it all.
Now that you're with me, I can finally see colors that were up in my mind. Now that I'm with you, sparks are flying loose. Fireworks go off in my brain. And I'll never be that. And I'll never be the same. I didn't know until I found you. Having the time of our lives, it takes two. When I look up, the stars are brighter. Now I know everything's better with you. You got me feeling right, feeling like good vibes are at my door. Every day, every night, ooh, ooh. I didn't know until I found you. Having the time of our lives, it takes two. It takes me and you.
Welcome back to Busan Worldwide. The time is now 11:33, and it's time for Up Busan 2030. It is a daily campaign segment in Busan Worldwide to learn more about World Expo until November 28th, which is when the host city for the 2030 World Expo will be decided on. So let's dive right into it. The government has presented plans to contribute to the Green Climate Fund, also known as GCF, for the 21 member countries of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC, while seeking support for hosting the 2030 Busan World Expo. 네, 정부가 아시아 태평양 경제협력체 APEC 21개 회원국에 녹색기후 기금 공여 계획을 제시하며 2030 부산월드엑스포 유치 지지를 요청했습니다. So the GCF, short for Green Climate Fund, is a fund designed to support greenhouse gas reduction efforts in developing countries. On the 12th, Choi Ji-young, Director General of International Economic Affairs at the Ministry of Planning and Finance, attended the 2023 APEC Finance Ministers meeting held in San Francisco, USA, introducing South Korea's hope to host the 2030 World Expo in Busan. Director General Choi presented the plan to provide an additional $300 million to the Green Climate Fund, along with an introduction to South Korea's New Growth 4.0 strategy. The New Growth 4.0 strategy is a national roadmap that covers themes such as achieving a leap to a first-class nation and securing future advanced technologies. In particular, Director General Choi held bilateral talks with representatives of key APEC countries such as Indonesia, Thailand, and Peru, urging support for the Busan World Expo. Also, he requested support for the smooth investment and operational activities of South Korean businesses, and the government's proposal for the Green Climate Fund is seen as an intention to strengthen the Busan indicator, right, by emphasizing the need for carbon neutrality in both developing and advanced countries within APEC, highlighting the excellence of South Korea's advanced technology. So here's to hoping that APEC countries will contribute their support to Busan as well. And that was the update for the Busan World Expo Daily campaign here on Busan Worldwide. Now let's move on to the Daily Expo quiz. Now, listeners, with just over 10 days remaining until the selection of the host city for the 2030 World Expo, it is reported that the city of Busan has identified support from this country as a crucial key to securing Busan as the host city. Now, listeners, this country, which hosted the World Expo in 2010, is evaluated to hold substantial influence within the BIE alongside the U.S. as a major global economic power. So here's the question for today. 엑스포 관련 문제 드리겠습니다. Which country is this country that hosted the World Expo in 2010? 네, 지난 2010년 월드 엑스포를 개최하기도 했던 이 나라는 어디일까요? All right, the question was, which country is this country? This country also hosted the World Expo in 2010, and the answer is China. 정답은 바로 중국입니다. As a G2 nation, China's endorsement of lack or lack thereof for a particular country can definitely influence East Asian nations. Currently, China has not officially disclosed its supporting candidate city. According to sources within relevant government departments, high-ranking officials, including ministers, have visited China in the latter half of this year, requesting China's support for Busan World Expo. The government's assessment is that securing China's vote, given its influence in international politics and also economics, is crucial for the success of Busan's bid. Some arguments suggest that China, aiming to host the World Expo in 2035 and avoiding consecutive Asian hosts, might lean towards supporting Saudi Arabia. Well, with the South Korean government intensifying its Busan sales activities directed at China, there is optimism, right, that China may support Busan given the significance of exchanges with the city. And in the final stretch, full efforts are being directed to capture China's favor and support for Busan. And that's it for Up Busan 2030, a daily campaign for the Busan World Expo. Listeners, the time is now 11:37. Let's take a quick song break. This is Lucas Graham with Love Somebody.
There are days I wake up and I pinch myself. You're with me, not someone else. And I'm scared, yeah, I'm still scared. That is all a dream. 'Cause you still worst ones. You make me smile. I'd stop the world if it gave us time. 'Cause when you love someone, you open up your heart. When you love someone, you make room. If you love someone and you're not afraid to lose them, you probably never loved someone like I do. You probably never loved someone like I do. When you say you love the way I make you feel, everything becomes so real. Don't be scared, no, don't be scared. 'Cause you're all I need. And you still look perfect as days go by. Even the worst ones, you make me smile. I'd stop the world if it gave us time. 'Cause when you love someone, you open up your heart. When you love someone, you make room. If you love someone and you're not afraid to lose them, you probably never loved someone like I do. You probably never loved someone like I do. All my life, I thought it'd be hard to find the one till I found you. And I find it bittersweet. 'Cause you gave me something to lose. But when you love someone, you open up your heart. When you love someone, you make room. If you love someone and you're not afraid to lose them, you probably never loved someone like I do. You probably never loved someone like I do. You probably never loved someone like I do.
Beyond the borders of Busan, bringing the world back to you. Busan Worldwide with Stephanie Yoon.
The country's housing agency is calling attention to
Correspondent Report. That's right. It's time for Correspondent Report, where we connect with our reporters from all around the world. And today we're going to be connecting with a reporter from Japan. 네, 오늘은 일본 소식입니다. 일본의 김유리 통신원, 안녕하십니까?
네, 안녕하세요. 일본 현지 김유리 통신원입니다.
네, 반갑습니다. All right, we have Miss Kim Yuri from Japan connected with us, and we're going to hear the latest information coming from Japan. So for our first topic today, amidst the current global tensions, the APEC summit has captured attention, especially the anticipated meeting between leaders like Kishida and Xi Jinping. So today, we're going to focus on this topic for our first topic. 네, 첫 번째 소식입니다. 세계 정세가 얼어붙은 요즘 APEC 정상회의에서 미중 중일 정상회담이 주목받고 있는데요. 자세한 소식 전해주시죠.
네, 현지 시간으로 11일에서 17일까지 아시아 태평양 경제협력체 APEC은 모두를 위한 회복 탄력적으로 지속 가능한 미래 창조를 주제로 미국 샌프란시스코에서 개최되고 있습니다. 15일 미중 정상회담 이후 16일에는 시 주석과 기시다 총리의 중일 정상회담이 최종 조정되고 있다는 소식입니다. 일본과 중국은 최근까지 중일 영토 분쟁, 오염수 해양 방류 문제, 중국의 일본인 구속 문제, 중국의 일본산 수산물 금수 조치까지 다방면으로 관계가 악화된 상황 속에 기시다 총리는 일본산 수산물 금수 조치 철폐 등을 요구할 전망입니다.
I see. So the APEC summit under the theme Creating a Resilient and Sustainable Future for All is taking place in San Francisco from the 11th to the 17th of this month. Following the U.S.-China summit on the 15th, there are reports that a meeting between President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Kishida is being finalized for the 16th local time. And despite recent strains in China and Japan relations over territorial disputes, marine pollution, arrest of Japanese citizens in China, and China's restrictions on Japanese seafood, Prime Minister Kishida is expected to call for the lifting of the ban on Japanese seafood exports during the summit. And it's worth noting that the foreign ministers of Japan, the U.S., and South Korea had a meeting just 2 months ago. So let's hear a bit about this. 네, 한미일 3국의 외교장관이 2개월 만에 만남을 가지기도 했죠.
네, 현지 시간으로 14일 박진 외교부 장관과 토니 블링컨 미 국무장관, 카미가와 요코 일본 외무상은 지난 9월 말 유엔 총회 이후 2개월 만에 다시 만나게 되었습니다. 한미일 장관들은 지난 8월 캠프 데이비드에서 열린 한미일 3국 정상회의 합의 사항 이행을 점검하고 대북 공조 방안을 논의했습니다. 특히 9월 북한과 러시아의 정상회담 이후 북한 무기의 이동 사항, 거래 사항 및 공동 대응 방안도 함께 나누었으며 이스라엘과 팔레스타인 전쟁으로 인한 국제 정세 현안도 논의했습니다.
그렇군요. So on the 14th, Foreign Minister Park Jin, U.S. Secretary of State Tony Blinken, and Japanese State Minister for Foreign Affairs Yoko Kamikawa met for the first time since the UN General Assembly in late September. The trilateral meeting assessed the implementation of agreements reached during the trilateral meeting and summit in August and discussed coordinated approaches to North Korea. They also addressed movements and transactions related to North Korean weapons after the summit between North Korea and Russia back in September and discussed international issues arising from the Israel and Palestine conflict at the moment. Also, there is a scheduled meeting between President Yoon Suk-yeol and Prime Minister Kishida. So let's hear a bit about this. 네, 한국의 윤석열 대통령과 일본의 기시다 총리의 만남도 예정되어 있죠.
네, 그렇습니다. 윤 대통령은 순방 마지막 날인 17일에 미국 스탠퍼드 대학에서 기시다 후미오 일본 총리와 함께 한일 및 한미일 첨단 기술 분야 협력을 주제로 한 정상회담이 아닌 좌담회를 가질 예정입니다. 이 자리에서 수소, 암모니아 등 탈탄소 공급망 구축 방안을 논의할 예정으로 일본 언론들에 따르면 두 정상은 한일 정상회담도 조율 중인 것으로 전해지고 있습니다.
I see. So on the last day of President Yoon's visit on the 17th local time, he is set to attend a roundtable discussion with Japanese Prime Minister Kishida Fumio at Stanford University in the U.S. The focus will be on cooperation in advanced technology between South Korea, the U.S., and Japan, specifically discussing the establishment of a decarbonized supply chain for hydrogen and ammonia. Well, with that, let's move on to our second topic. This one is following the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a trend among Japanese local authorities to impose what's called a lodging tax on the increasing number of tourists. 네, 두 번째 소식입니다. 코로나19 팬데믹 이후 일본의 지자체들은 최근 늘어나는 관광객들에게 관광 숙박세라는 세금을 부과하려는 움직임이 보이고 있다고요.
네, 13일 산케이 신문에 따르면 숙박세 논의가 가장 활발한 곳은 홋카이도와 삿포로시 등 도내 7개 시입니다. 홋카이도는 단계적 정액제로 숙박요금 1인 1박을 기준으로 1만 엔 미만의 100엔, 1만 엔 이상은 200엔, 5만 엔 이상은 500엔이라는 내용입니다. 연 60억 엔 규모의 세수를 예상하며 이는 관광지 진흥을 위한 용도로 활용될 방침이라고 합니다.
그렇군요. So according to reports from the Sankei News on the 13th, discussions on lodging taxes are most active in 7 cities including Hokkaido and Sapporo. Hokkaido is proposing a gradual lump sum system where the tax is 100 yen for stays under 10,000 yen, 200 yen for stays between 10,000 and 50,000 yen, and 500 yen for stays over 50,000 yen. This is expected to generate around 6 billion yen annually with plans to use the funds for promoting tourism. 그런데 세금을 부과하는 방식의 시별로 이견이 나오고 있다고요?
네, 숙박세는 일본의 지방자치단체가 독자적으로 규정하고 과세할 수 있는 목적세로 2중, 3중 과세가 될 가능성도 있습니다. 기존 소비세, 온천이 있는 곳은 입탕세, 거기다 숙박세까지 더하면 다른 관광지와의 경쟁력 저하로 관광객 유치가 어려울 수도 있다는 우려가 있는 것인데요. 따라서 홋카이도 내 오타루시와 후라노시 같은 경우에는 숙박 요금에 관계없이 1인 1박에 200엔이라는 일률 정액제를 제시하기도 합니다.
그렇군요. So the lodging tax is intended for local governments in Busan or in Japan to independently regulate and tax, leading to the possibility of double or triple taxation. Concerns have been raised that combining the existing consumption tax with hot springs taxes and now lodging taxes might diminish competitiveness and make it challenging to attract tourists. Also, some cities in Hokkaido, such as Otaru and Furano, are suggesting a flat fee of 200 yen per person per night, regardless of the lodging fee. 그럼 지역에 따라 제도와 금액이 달라진다는 것인데 이 새로운 과세는 언제부터 시행될 예정인가요?
네, 홋카이도에서는 빠르면 2026년 도입을, 미야기현, 아오모리현, 치바현에서는 2025년 도입을 목표로 하고 있습니다. 현재 관광세를 시행하고 있는 것은 도쿄도, 오사카부, 교토시 등 9곳으로 적게는 인당 100엔에서 많게는 1000엔까지 징수하고 있습니다. 일본 정부는 이러한 지자체 간의 이견이 있음에도 중앙 정부가 직접 개입하지는 않을 것이며 그 재원은 지역 주민과 관광 환경 개선을 위해 사용할 것이라는 입장을 지키고 있습니다.
그렇군요. 네, 일본 여행을 가기 전에 그 지역이나 숙박업소의 과세법에 대해 알아두면 체크아웃할 때 당황하지 않을 것 같습니다. Now, she shared that Hokkaido aims to implement it as early as 2026, while Miyagi, Aomori, and Chiba prefectures are targeting 2025. Currently, 9 areas, including Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, are already enforcing a tourist tax ranging from 100 to 1,000 yen per person. Despite disagreements among local governments, the central government insists it will not directly intervene, emphasizing that the funds should be used for the benefit of local residents and the improvement of the tourism environment as well. And this is definitely valuable information for those planning to take a trip to Japan, knowing the tax regulations in the region or the lodging facility in advance can avoid any of the surprise, payment during the checkout as well. With that, let's move on to our last topic for today. K-pop stars are set to make an appearance in Japan's popular year-end program titled Red and White Year-End Song Festival. 네, 세 번째 소식입니다. 연말 일본의 인기 프로그램인 홍백가합전에 K-pop 스타들이 대거 출연할 예정이라고요.
네, 일본 최고 권위의 연말 방송 프로그램인 NHK 홍백가합전에 르세라핌, 스트레이키즈, 세븐틴, 니쥬, 트와이스 유닛이 미사모 등 K-pop 그룹 6개 팀이 출연합니다. 1980년대에는 조용필, 개은숙, 2000년대에는 보아, 동방신기, 소녀시대가 일본 가수들의 꿈의 무대인 홍백가합전에 섰습니다. 이후 한일 관계 악화, 코로나19 등으로 한국 가수 출연이 뜸했다가 지난해 트와이스, 르세라핌, 아이브 등이 출연했습니다.
I see. So NHK's prestigious year-end broadcast titled The Red and White Song Festival will feature 6 K-pop groups, including Le Seraphim, Stray Kids, 17, Niju, and Twice's unit titled Misamo. And this program, which has historically hosted iconic singers from Korea like Cho Yong-pil and Kae Eun-suk in the 1980s, and BoA, DBSK, Girls' Generation in the 2000s, saw a decline in Korean artist participation due to strained relations and the pandemic. However, last year, groups like Twice, Le Seraphim, and IVE made a return. 일본의 대형 연예기획사인 자니스의 소속 연예인은 배제되었다고요?
네, NHK는 이번 출연자 선정 때 창업자의 과거 연습생 성착취 사실이 드러난 지금은 스마일업으로 사명을 변경했습니다만 옛 자니스의 소속 연예인은 배제했습니다. 자니스 소속 연예인이 없는 홍백가합전 무대는 44년 만의 일입니다. 지난해 해당 프로그램은 그룹 내 일본인 멤버가 없으면 K-pop 그룹 출연을 시키지 않았지만 올해는 이 금지령 또한 해지된 것으로 보입니다. 최근 한일 관계 개선으로 한류의 연기가 일본에서 더없이 뜨거움을 느낄 수 있습니다.
그렇군요. So NHK has excluded artists from the former Johnny and Associates agency, now renamed Smile Up, due to revelations of past exploitation of trainees by the agency's founder. Now, last year, the program enforced a rule that K-pop groups must have at least one Japanese member, but this restriction have been lifted this year, and with recent involvements and improvements in Japan-Korea relations, the enthusiasm for Hallyu seems to be reigniting, which is great to hear. Well, that's going to do it for today's correspondent report, connecting with our reporter based in Japan, Miss Kim Yuri. 네, 오늘도 일본의 여러 가지 소식 전해주셔서 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다. 이상 일본 효고에서 김유리 통신원이었습니다.
All right. And that's going to do it for Correspondent Report, getting all the latest information coming from Japan. Now, listeners, the time is now 11:54, which means we do have to wrap up very soon. Today, as always, we had the interview, Up Busan, and also Correspondent Report. Tomorrow, we'll be back with our Friday segment, News Insight. Can you believe it's already Friday? And before we wrap up, I do want to say this today is a special day with 수능 going on, CSAT. So really continuing to, send those positive thoughts and prayers for all the students and examinees. And tomorrow, we'll see you at 11:05 a.m. The final song for today is Sam Cooke with Bring It On Home to Me. And this program was produced by Tina Park, written by Bang Mira. I've been your host, Stephanie Yoon. Have a wonderful rest of your day and see you tomorrow.
If you ever change your mind about leaving me behind, well, bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know I laughed when you left, but now I know I only hurt myself. Hey, bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll give you jewelry and money too. That ain't all I'll do for you. Well, you bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know I'll always be your slave till I'm buried.
Hi, I'm Roberto Fernandez from Mallorca, Spain. I have been living here in Busan for more than 5 years with